coffee because I was searching to do something meaningful, first to myself, that could give an aim to my life, as well to create a positive impact on the environment and society. So looking for that product in my search, I stumbled upon two brothers from Italy and one roaster from Barcelona. And we had a meeting with them. They wanted to show us the art and science of brewing espresso coffees. And I loved it. So I kind of fell in love with this coffee story. And I decided with my sister together to launch one of the very first specialty coffee shops in the Barcelona province. This passion for coffee never left me. India came before coffee. I came first time when I was 19 years old. First was India and then was Auroville. And after that I went back to Spain and then I realized that I wanted to come back to Auroville and live in India. But I wanted to bring a skill or something to give back to this country. And since luckily India is producing amazing coffees, for me was another reason why to move, because I could actually visit the coffee plantations and have be able to be in touch with all value chain from the seed to the cup.
My name is Matilde. I'm coming from Barcelona. I came to Auroville in 1997 with my partner Marc, and before we came here we both had aspiration looking for a society where we could grow in a different way, and a society where if we would have children, they also would grow in a different way. So we found this place here in Auroville. We are coming with a background of coffee and coffee shops already in Barcelona. And we started helping out and setting up the first coffee shop in Auroville on top of the solar kitchen.
Coffee Ideas was created in 2008. It's an Auroville Foundation unit. Coffee Ideas was set up to promote sustainable Indian coffees for the Indian market. And within Coffee Ideas as a company, we have created a brand and a brand name for our sustainable coffees called Marc's Coffees. We also felt the need to reach out the visitors that comes to visit us in Auroville. The visitor center was the best place for us to have a cafe where we could actually brew and serve our coffees along with our confectionaries. And we wanted to create a project that also was in line with sustainable practices. So Dreamers Cafe was one of the very first retrofitted containers that we use in our community. And we have also installed a solar power installation to help us to run all the equipment that we require, like ice cream displays or coffee machines or fridges. And from the Dreamers Cafe, many people get in touch with our brand Marc's Coffees. And from there, people reach us as company Coffee Ideas, which not only sells and brew coffees, but also offers consultancy services for either farmers who wants to move from conventional farming to sustainable farming, as well as coffee entrepreneurs that they wish to open their own cafes. To expose to the customers that we can run cafes in a much better sustainable manner, starting from solid waste management. So we, for instance, in this cafe we refuse to use plastic straws, and we try to encourage not takeaway, but allowing people to come and sit down so they can drink their coffee with a proper terracotta pot. So the message is the same: it's sustainable practices, organic food, wholesome food, made not at the biggest scale. It's all made in an artisanal manner. but our customers are slightly different. At Marc's Cafe, it's more for community members or locals that they live around here for many years, as well as some visitors. The Dreamers Cafe, of course, being at the visitor center, caters a much bigger audience, and our engagement with the customers is a bit less, because the huge amount of visitors that they come does not allow us to engage as we can do here at Marc's Cafe. So basically this is the difference. Marc's Cafe has three main spaces. One is the cafe itself, where we brew the coffees and we also do our menu. We have a small shop in the cafe where people can buy our coffee packets as well as some coffee equipment. And the cafe is connected to the terrace. Then we have what we call the roastery, where we roast the coffee. We roast, blend, grind, and pack all the coffees under our brand. And then we have the living room, which is more like our resource room, where we do classes on brewing coffees at home, or sharing knowledge about coffee, specialty coffee. We do talks, sessions. The bakery started 1.5 years ago. Before, most of our cakes were outsourced by local bakers. That was a very good help at the beginning to offer something different to our clients. But as we grew up in size and volume, we wanted to have our own bakery and create our own signature recipes and be able to offer organic bakes the good size at competitive prices. So, and we also wanted to start making sourdough breads, because we believe that we also kind of lost a little bit track of what real bread is all about. So the bakery, one of the main drives was to bring back that culture of having your own mother culture and baking cakes and breads that they have really much more authentic flavor, without the need of adding any artificial colors or agents to make them either rise or have a different taste.
We created Dreamer's Kitchen, that is upstairs Marc's Cafe, and now we started with one baker and one helper. 1 week later we realized that we needed a team, so now there is 7 people working upstairs. We've been having a lot of volunteers, and we are producing only 2 kinds of sourdough, a round and a shaped one. And all our pastry that caters to Dreamer's Cafe and Marc's Cafe is baked here. And Marc's passion also, besides roasting coffee, it was also baking bread. So it was the next normal step to do for us. So that's how now we have our own range of cake. I have my 3 best products. The sourdough round bread is delicious. I've been almost eating it for the one last year. Also, we had to catch on the recipe and fine tune it all the time. So I've been constantly trying that bread, and I really like the outcome that we have nowadays. Second, the best cake I think we have is the almond chocolate cake, which is pure almond flour with organic chocolate from Wyandotte. No flour, so it's fantastic for celiac or gluten intolerant people. And savory, I like the spinach tart. Most of the time the spinach comes from my garden or from our orchard. So, of course, I have a soft spot for that one.
Then we have what we call the roastery, where we roast the coffee. Artisan roasting is, by definition, is when you roast coffees in small batches. That enables you to really be very particular about the way you want to roast this coffee. Since we know the source and we know where it grows, we understand better which type of a roasting profile that coffee will need. So our methodology of roasting coffee combines 2 trends. One is the artisanal trend, that you don't want to roast in bigger quantities. Our roaster is able to roast around 10 kilos of coffee per batch, so that's very small compared to industrial roasters that can roast to 1,000 kilos per batch. But we also use some technology as well, because if you want to consistently deliver the same flavor, we need to be able to understand all the parameters involved in the roasting process. In a very simple manner, when we roast coffees, we have 3 phases of the roasting process. One, you need to have your green beans ready. We will load the coffee roaster with the green beans, and we will put them inside the drum at certain temperature for a period of time. The first part of the roasting process is basically to remove the moisture content of the green bean, and then enable the bean to start to be roasted, which is the second part, around 160 degrees Celsius, that the coffee has lost completely almost all the water, and the Maillard reactions starts to come up. Means that all the carbohydrates containing in the coffee are being transformed by the heat into sugars and flavor. That is exactly what happens when you put bread in an oven or when you put a burger in a pan. That is taste development. And the third part of it, which is very important as well, is the cooling process. If we want our coffee to be sweet and tasty, we need to make sure that the cooling process is done fast. After roasting, it's very important you allow the coffee beans to be settled for 1 or 2 days. After 2 days, then we can start grinding differently for different machines, for different purposes, and do the packing and distribution. We have a special grinder that can grind from Turkish coffee, which is a very fine powder, it's almost like talc powder, up to French press. French press needs a very coarse grind because it's an infusion. So our grinder is equipped to produce all these range of powders depending on the way you want to do it. Consultancy comes to us because the people come to the cafe, they love it, they love the coffee, they love the ambience, and either they already have a hotel or they have a restaurant or their family business is already in hospitality. They see coffee as a new product. They see coffee shops and cafes something that was not there before. That it has been very well received and appreciated, particularly by the young population of India. They are very fan of it. So they come to us and say, "Oh, can you help me to set up my own coffee shop?" And so for us again is a way to engage and to help others to achieve what we are doing. To produce a beautiful cup of coffee which is traceable, sustainable, in a beautiful atmosphere. So we help them with the coffee training for their staff, we help them to select the equipment, we help them to have a style or some interior design, all what you require to have a proper cafe. We do consultancy also at the plantation level. This consultancy is done more in a voluntary basis because we give consultancy to our own farmers.
How long have you known Marc?
4 years.
And was your plantation organic 4 years ago?
No, 14 years.
It's been organic?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I get coffee after 6 years from my planting. Last 8 years only I am getting coffee now in my plantation.
Okay, yes.
This last 4 years I getting premium price.
Yes.
And before I get a normal price.
How are some ways that Marc helped you develop your better quality?
When the flowering and picking, harvesting and fermenting.
And what?
Fermenting.
Fermenting.
Yes, fermenting.
And?
Hulling, peeling the coffee. I am knowing about the quality coffee more. The cracks development, like everything.
This is what we are trying to do at Marc's Coffees. is to work hand by hand with the coffee planters to understand better what they produce in the farm and how this product that is produced in your farm is transformed into roasted coffee, and the final moment where the customer comes and try. Through this relationship, I am able to explain him what are the changes that you need to do in order to improve your quality. It's very important that him, as a coffee farmer, planter, comes down here with us. We roast together his coffee, we'll cut the coffee, we'll assess the coffee, so we can actually take the best of his coffee in the roasting process as well as in the brewing process. And the advantage of coming down here to our coffee shop is that we have our customers trying his coffee and giving feedback to us, how they feel. They appreciate the notes, or some notes are not appreciated. So through 4 years of a relationship, now we have established a common understanding. Our customers have accepted his coffee very well, so we can see the future ahead. Always with the collaboration of the planter and the roaster and the brewer, we can achieve a better product. At the same time, it's a fully traceable coffee. When you're trying our espresso blend, if you really want to know from where this coffee comes from, we can even give the number of the planter. You want to visit him, you want to visit the plantation. We are absolutely transparent in our transactions. I can tell you how much I pay him, he knows how much I'm selling. So what we want to bring is transparency in the value chain. We want to make sure if you pay 100 rupees for a cup of coffee, we should be ensure that he gets a good share, because he is the man who's growing it. And this is something that we want to change, because the majority of coffee you drink around the world, most of the profit will never go to the farmer.
Yeah, fair trade.
Right?
Yes.
So that's our story.
Good story.
Thank you.
My daughter started saying, "Oh mama, I'm doing my A-levels, I'm gonna go to Europe, maybe to university." And I said, yeah, and you will need to maybe catch a job. So you can do two things: start from doing the dishes in any place and get some euros at the end of the week. Or if you want to learn some trade, some skill, you can start a bit higher up. So of course she liked barista and she liked coffee, and as a kid she's been always around us, so it was the next step. So I said, look, instead of doing it just for yourself, why don't you get a group of friends? So at the end they were 6 of them, been training from seed to cup. That means that we've been explaining where coffee comes from, how to process it, the difference between a Robusta and an Arabica, and the different tastes of customers itself, like to get to know your customer and how to serve it. And then they started being trained here in Marc's Cafe, and when the season came, we threw them all to Dreamers Cafe, which been very challenging sometimes. They started in low season, so there was a lot to learn, and just how to move 10 people inside a 4-meter ship container, not to bump into each other, how to treat angry customers or customers that are in a rush and that you need to serve them quickly, and work under the pressure, and especially being the ambassadors of Auroville, because these kids are in visitor center, especially working in Dreamers, and when they see them, they can see that they are not the workers from next door, and there is a lot of questions raised to them, and they have to be up to the marks to ask, not just about coffee, but also about Auroville. I would call ourselves as a social enterprise because the dedication that we take with our crew that they are working here. In the summertime we went to Coffee State because we don't want them just to be selling coffee as if they are selling shoes or potatoes. So we took them to the coffee state, we stayed there, they had explanation. I mean, it was an amazing trip because for them it was the first time in a coffee state.
In the coffee scene, you have very good examples of how different our company is because it's in Auroville, and how different it would be and it would be outside Auroville. The difference is that if you have a private limited company outside, the owner is free to sell that company whenever they want. In fact, most of the coffee companies that you see around are small entrepreneurs. They started something successful, worked very well, it created a good impact and good image, and then a bigger company will come and buy it and then incorporate that into their conglomerate. It is a model that is used in coffee and many other segments. When you are starting an enterprise in Auroville, the first thing that is definitely different is that you are not the owner, you are the steward of the unit. Your responsibility is to look after and make it grow and make sure that the benefits of the company are distributed properly, first around your staff, and second that we give back to our inner economy for running the expenses of our community, saying schools or whatever it is that we need to develop. The company will transfer 33% at least of the net profit of the enterprise towards the budget of our. So that basically is the main difference between being an Auroville unit and being an outside. Well, first of all, our staff. We call it staff, but in fact we also want to go beyond this employee and employer mentality. I think everyone here brings their own talents, and everybody tries to feel and find its own place. We feel kind of responsible that they spend 1/3 of their life here, and not only working but also becomes like a family. So for us it's a natural relationship to help the children of our staff to go through the best education they can have. So we support the education fully. The cost of the education of one of our staff is fully supported by us.
My name is Bhuvneshwari. I come to Auroville. It's very nice. I like Auroville. I'm working with Auroville. I'm very happy.
Did you work for other business outside of Auroville?
No, only for Auroville. I'm working in Auroville maximum 14 years. Marc is helping more. He helping my daughter school fees or something extra. I'm very happy. April she's finished. After she going to university, she told me is help with the university also.
So they're going to help you with your daughter's university?
Yes. We were very happy with Marc and Matilde.
Well, they're happy with you.
Thank you so much.
As we grow along, we would like also the other staff. One of our coffee roaster in fact has 1 children. They already requesting us, me and Matilde, whether we can help them to get their children into not Auroville schools, but the outreach Auroville schools, Abu Dhabi or Poly school, because they see how differently we work. So we will put all our efforts to make sure that the children of our staff, if they wish to, we will make sure that they go to outreach schools and give them later on opportunities within the community.
My name is Veeramani. I am living in a near one village, Kud Road. So I was working here 2.5 years. Now here only working in first in Auroville. I here like the very good job. I like very much coffee. and how to grow coffee and everything I will manage. I like Arabic school better, no? But government school not facility, nothing. It's, education not good. I am also government school finishing, so there is no good knowledge. So only Tamil, more than not intelligent. School is not good, and teachers also not good. Here taking of the children and teachers everything take our children, good knowledge giving. So many extra activities they are giving oral. That is I like. That's why I'm children I give to oral.
Our staff feel so much part of our business. They don't see themselves as employees anymore, and this is one of the signs that confirms that assumption. We all positively know that Sundays for a cafe is the most busiest day of the week because we get the most amount of visitors, and because we wanted to have one day off, and we started closing on Sundays since the day one we opened this cafe. But they saw that the cafe is evolving, is growing, is becoming more beautiful, and more people come. So they thought, see, for us Sundays are not a big deal. We would like to work on Sundays. They also see the benefit that they can also have a little bit an extra income. By working on Sunday, get a better pay. They are happy to open the doors for people who otherwise would not be able to come and visit us. Many people said, the day you open on Sunday, I come and visit you. Otherwise, I work, I cannot come. So that happens, and it's beautiful to see that they have their own initiative and we can trust them. And so this is another sign that perhaps the relationships that we have with them are very constructive and truthful.
For the future in coffee ideas, for me is to develop one coffee school. The coffee school is two things. Is one for to create the barista, because in India the barista is known. A second time is also for to roasting, to know what is different form to roasting coffee. Another pleasure is to organize the travel for the coffee plantation, because many people coming in Oroville, you want to know where is the coffee. I organize one group, about 10-12 persons, for to go to the mountain for the visit the coffee plantation, for to know the workers, for to know the different plants about the coffee, Arabica, Robusta. For me is a pleasure to know this.
I'm Johan from Sweden, and I've been to Oroville many times, and I love it here. It's a great place and great people. And Marc's Coffee, it's a good location, and it's the coffee is great, and people are interesting, and so the best coffee I have found, and you can get espressos and chocolate croissant I sometimes go for. And I usually go to La Terrace above Solar Kitchen, or to this place. That's my favorite cafes in Oroville. Yeah, it's a very good place. Yeah.
Actually, my name is Arvind Pal, and I come from Chandigarh. This place, Marc's place, was like a very well-known place and like a hotspot of Oroville. You have to be there. And when I had the coffee, it was like I haven't had coffee like that. The flavor, the aroma is really genuine.
And I noticed you bought, how many packets of coffee did you buy, and what are your favorites?
See, I'm going to America for a shoot, so I'm going to pick up this as a gift. because they like coffee and they're used to Starbucks and all those branded stuff. Something coming from India, Auroville, which is so good. I want to see their reactions. You know, how do they like it? Yeah, the Bhuma Devi and the Malabar Blues are my favorite.
Okay.
Because I like strong coffee, strong.
Yeah.
I had the cheesecake. It was outstanding. Everything is so pure. It tastes very different. Even the eggs, the omelette I had just now for breakfast, it was quite good.
The coffee here is really excellent.
My name is Jan Gorlievsky. I'm an architect and an academic in Australia, and I come out here regularly. I'm involved in working with the team on the international zone in Oroville. There's nothing strange about my love for coffee. I grew up in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, which is a very famous coffee growing area of the world. I grew up in the middle of hundreds of acres of organic coffee production. And so my knowledge of coffee and my love of coffee comes from my childhood. Marc's coffee is really good, so I've been coming to India. Marc's coffee is really good, so I've been coming to India for the last 30 years or so. I just want to show you this crema. That's a really nice crema, and it's really unusual to get a crema like that on a non-robusta bean, so it's really nice. And one of the things that dismays me most about coming to India is the coffee. India has some good coffee, but typically in places that grow coffee, they don't roast it well or blend it well. And there's an exception here, particularly to places like India or to Asia where there isn't a tradition of good coffee making. I usually bring my own beans. I go into a cafe, I make them empty their hoppers, their grinders, grind my coffee and make my coffee for me. For that I normally have to tip them very well.